Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Road to GT Academy 2013. As you can see, it's episode 6, and it's Overtaking. If none of you follow the threads that I post this in, you might be wondering why there's been such a break. There was just a break because I was ill over Christmas, and because it was Christmas, so most people wouldn't have been able to watch them over the period, and then rather than stacking them up, so then suddenly some people are like 4 episodes behind or whatever, we just started again from this Monday. So as you can see, it's about overtaking. I hope everyone's got a few New Year's resolutions to do with racing. Obviously mine is to keep training for GT Academy, so hopefully that's a few of yours as well. With GT Academy, there's a GT Academy challenge on at the moment, from the GT Academy edition of the game. Now, to me, it's well worth getting because obviously you can get the clothes and you've got the DLC already on the disc and stuff like that. So it's well worth it, and it works with your current save, so you're not going to overwrite anything. So I'll just give you a heads up with that. There's a lot of top drivers doing it. I'm currently 10th, but it's a bit hectic at the top. It's really close. So just to give you a heads up with that, it's good training for GT Academy for when that starts. So back to the video, it's about overtaking. I'll just give you a short list. There's 4 overtakes I'm going to do: the dive, the cutback, controlled braking, and the multi-corner overtakes. Essentially they're the 4 main ones that I'll talk about, and that I had video footage for as well. I would say as well, if you remember in the psychology one about placing somebody in a position to overtake as well, that's sort of in this, but that's also using those moves there, and they all sort of relate to each other in some way anyway. So we'll start with the dive. Now what I've done is I've put a brief definition of what I would call the dive. So this is it: an opening gap on the inside of an opponent, allowing you to use the space to overtake. Called the dive is usually a last second manoeuvre on a corner, and I'll put the difficulty is easy there. I've done that for all of them, a difficulty level. They progressively get harder through the video. As there's only 4, you can probably guess what they are. But I've tried to put video footage of each. Now, as I mentioned there, it's sort of finding a gap at the last second. So we've got this first piece of footage. This is in Lamborghini Gallardo's, and this is Coffee Bean I'm racing. Now I don't tend to do the dive too much because you need it really to make it work safely. It requires wing mirrors, but as you can see there, the last seconds Coffee's gone left, so I've gone right, and what's that's done then is it meant I've got the inside of the corner and the advantage. Now I mentioned there wing mirrors. Essentially, if you'll have a lot of accidents because dives are generally last second. So some people aren't, or most people aren't expecting it, and they can't see it. If it's in a blind spot, they can't see it, and suddenly hit each other. Because obviously, in real life, you would give a car space. If it suddenly appears there, you suddenly go a bit wider. You know, you both give each other a tiny bit of space. So I'll just show you another version of the dive. This is quite a unique version of the dive. This overtake, just from where it happens and the braking and things like that. So it's on Coffee again. I'm not picking on Coffee here, but you know, as you can see there, it's very at the last second and it's very on the inside, and it's sort of taking advantage of Coffee's slight mistake, him going slightly wide, and that's essentially what the dive is. It's either them leaving a gap for you to take, or them slightly making a mistake, and then you sort of capitalising on that with a quick dive in. So that's the dive. Next one, the cutback, which I've explained here. Usually happens after an opponent goes deep into a corner. With a better exit, you can overtake the opponent with the additional speed you've gained from not going as deep. So essentially you straight line the corner more than them, so you get more speed out the corner. I'll put this as difficulty easy as well. This is my favourite move. I do this a lot, just because of the way Gran Turismo is, as in a game and not real life. So I'll just show you this first one. This is with Ghost. I think they're both with Ghost actually. So you've not seen this footage before. Ghost is trying to overtake me. Goes too deep there. I've managed to straight line it a bit more, and I can accelerate out again. That was a defensive sort of overtake of the cutback. Now obviously you can use it as an aggressive as well, which I'll show you in a second. Because, as I mentioned there, it works. It's my favourite, and it works well in Gran Turismo. Because everybody has nothing to lose in Gran Turismo because it's a game, not like real life where you would damage your car and things like that. Everyone always brakes at the last minute. So if you're racing side by side, usually everyone will brake at the very last minute, or they'll try and be the last of the brakers. So in essence, if you just back off a bit and just do the cutback every time someone tries to outbrake you, you gain positions that way. I've seen it quite a lot. Now obviously Ghost is a really good racer, and you know, he could probably make that stick on any other lap. It's just this lap I've picked on. And in this case I knew what was going to happen, so I did the cutback. And I'm sort of thinking about these moves as I'm going round, so you know, as I approach a driver, I sort of learn how they drive quite quickly, or try and learn it as best as possible to then try and produce a move out of it. Now these are all very predictable, so I'll just let this play through. And this is going to be an aggressive one. Now you've seen this footage like 3 times already on different videos, but it's just to prove a point that you can have a defensive cutback or an aggressive cutback. So Ghost went to defend a dive there, and instead I did the cutback. So that's that really. So the next one is controlled braking. I'll just pause that so you can read it if you want to, but essentially you can outbrake an opponent to rotate, but you can also do controlled braking. So essentially what you've got, when you've got a nose in front of the opponent, you can keep braking as much as they're braking. So if they're trying to outbrake you, you can just judge your braking on them. And then because you're on the inside, they have to give up the corner eventually, otherwise they'll go off into the gravel. So you know, if you judge your braking like that. Now I've put this as medium because it's a lot harder to do. So we'll see this here with Ronin Racer X. What I do with this is I use the rear, the behind screen at the top, rear view mirror. So when I get an image of the car that I can just see, I can control my braking that way. So we've got a run on Racer X here. I'm going to go to the right, so that's essentially sort of a dive, but I'm going to brake at about the same time. So as you can see there, I can use Racer X as a judgment onto where he is, and he'll eventually have to give it up. Now he gives me space there, so it's not fought over too much, but essentially if you could control that area of the track, you're always on the inside. In real life, they would relinquish that position more easily. Obviously in the game, as I said, they're not going to relinquish it as much because they've got nothing to lose. So you know, if they damage the car, it's not going to cost them a penny. So that's controlled braking, and you can do that wherever really. Now multi-corner. I've called it the multi-corner. I have no idea what you would call this in real life. But essentially, if you can't get past somebody, you may need to think about sort of the layout of the track, and sort of sections of a track that are quite complicated but may gain you an advantage at somewhat. So basically, if you've got 3 or 4 corners, rather than do it in one corner with a dive or a cutback or, you know, controlled braking, you would sort of use the layout of the track to try and get it, you know, over the 4 corners. So I've got a piece of footage here. I've labelled this hard because it is hard to do, because essentially you have to have a clean racer with you doing this as well. So this is like an hour-long battle that's been going on with Ronin GT Dave. I'll upload highlights of this race actually on Wednesday, but I'll put you in my mindset. So I've been behind Dave for like about 48 minutes there, and we're approaching this corner. Now initially I was thinking the cutback, but then I realised it's not worked before, so I'll try and stay on the outside. This will give me the inside for the next corner. But I realised Dave's going to keep his speed up as well, so I back off a bit, and I know Dave's going to run wide slightly here, so I dart right. Now I know at the end of this section it's the right hand corner. If I keep my line here, I get the advantage. So I keep it. Look at that, he has to relinquish position. There you go, I've overtaken. Now if you think about it, 48 minutes behind somebody, you get frustrated, you know, you're thinking of everything. By this point, obviously I'm now looking at multiple corners to try and overtake rather than just the one corner, the two corners. So that was a long section of the Awesome Ring where initially it started off with one move, but I built it into another move and slowly built it up into the overtake. And because I ended up on the inside, Dave eventually knew he would have to give position. You know, that's what would happen in real life. It's a good move. I think Dave says it's a good move as well in the video. Now that's essentially everything on overtaking. I'm not a god at overtaking or anything like that. They're just some of the moves I use when I race. There's obviously other moves as well, but they're the main ones that I wanted to like put forward. Now these will help you race just cleanly and fairly, which is what I sort of promote. I don't like this sort of bashing people out the way nonsense. I know people complain about fast drivers doing it. I don't do it, so they're the moves I use. In the defensive video, I'll sort of take all these 4 moves and show you how you defend against them. Now obviously some overtaking moves suddenly become defensive moves, and it all sort of interlinks into clean racing and stuff like that. But these overtaking moves can also help you become a faster driver because you're trying new things, you're trying new lines. So it helps with clean racing and it helps improve you as a driver. So that's that. That's the video. It's not as long obviously as the 30-minute ones. It's just a quick one on racing. I'll leave you with this overtake again. We'll start it from the beginning. Start it from here. I hope you've enjoyed this quick video, and I'll see you guys on Friday because I'm going to produce a new video on Friday. So it'll be Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays for Gran Turismo videos. So we'll just watch this final move again. Like I say, we both give each other room as well, which is always good. And there we go. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on Friday.